Hey there, I'm Emma. I'm 28 and doing great as an architect in New York City. I've worked super hard to get here, late nights in college, climbing the career ladder. Meanwhile, my sister Olivia has been living her best life, going on fancy vacations, all paid for by our parents. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my family. My parents, Robert and Diana, have always supported us. But lately, I feel like they're a bit disappointed that I'm not more like Olivia. Emma, dear, when are you going to take a break? Mom's always saying. You work too hard. Look at Olivia, she knows how to enjoy life. Yeah, because Olivia's never had to work a day in her life. Everything changed when Grandpa passed away. He was my biggest cheerleader, always telling me I had a gift for architecture and not to let anyone dim my light. When we got the call about the will reading, I was devastated. Losing him was tough, but I had to stay strong. This wasn't just about money, it was about his legacy. The night before the will reading, I'm at my parents' house for dinner. Olivia, of course, is there too. So, sis, she says, sipping her wine, any plans for your share of the inheritance? I almost choke on my food. Olivia, we don't even know what's in the will yet. Dad tries to calm things down. Now, girls, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Grandpa's legacy is about more than just money, but I can see it in Olivia's eyes, she's already spending it in her mind. Later, while helping Mom with the dishes, she drops a bombshell. Emma, your father and I have been thinking, maybe it's time you settle down and start a family. Focusing so much on work isn't healthy. I can feel my blood pressure rising. Mom, I'm happy with my life. My career is important to me, she sighs, giving me that familiar disappointed look. I just worry about you, dear. You're not getting any younger. As I leave that night, I can't shake this uneasy feeling, like something big is coming, but I can't figure out what. The next morning, we're all at the lawyer's office for the will reading. Olivia's practically bouncing in her seat while I try to stay calm. This is it, the moment that could change everything. I noticed my parents exchange a look, something felt off, deep in my gut. I had no idea that everything I thought I knew about my family was about to be shattered. The bombshell that was about to drop would change my life completely. The lawyer's office was silent as Mr. Thompson, our family attorney, cleared his throat. My palms were sweaty, and I could feel Olivia fidgeting next to me. Let's begin the reading of Mr. Jonathan Miller's last will and testament, Mr. Thompson started. I held my breath, thinking about Grandpa, his kind smile, his encouragement. But then, Mr. Thompson's voice pulled me back to the moment. To my granddaughter, Emma Miller, I leave. Suddenly, Dad interrupted. Actually, there's been a change. I looked up, confused. What change? Mom chimed in, her voice sweet but fake. We've decided to make a small adjustment to your grandfather's wishes. Mr. Thompson looked puzzled. I'm not aware of any changes, Mr. and Mrs. Miller. Dad waved it off. It's a family decision. We're redistributing Emma's inheritance to Olivia. The room erupted. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. What? You can't do that. I shouted, jumping to my feet. Olivia's smug voice cut in. Oh, come on, sis. You don't really need it, do you? I mean, you've got your fancy job and all. I turned to her, furious. This isn't about need, Olivia. This is about Grandpa's wishes. Mom tried to calm me down. Sweetie, we just think Olivia could use the help more. You're doing so well on your own, so I'm being punished for working hard? For making something of myself? I could feel tears stinging my eyes. Dad's voice grew stern. Now, Emma, don't be dramatic. We're just trying to be fair. Fair? How is this fair? I was screaming now, hurt and angry. Mr. Thompson stepped in, saying, I must advise that this is highly irregular and potentially illegal. But my parents weren't listening. They were too busy fussing over Olivia, who was already thinking about how to spend the money. I'm thinking of a trip to Bali, she mused. Or maybe I'll buy that cute little sports car. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my bag and stormed out, ignoring my parents' calls. Outside, everything felt like it was spinning. How could this be happening? I slumped against the building, trying to catch my breath. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Mom, "Don't be childish, Emma. Come back inside so we can discuss this as a family." I scoffed. Family? What family? As I hailed a cab, another text came through, this time from Olivia. "Thanks for the cash, sis. Don't worry, I'll send you a postcard from my yacht." I turned off my phone, unable to handle their cruelty. Back at my apartment, I paced, my mind racing. This couldn't be legal, changing a will like that? I tried to make sense of it all. The favoritism, the constant criticism of my choices, the way Olivia was always praised for doing nothing. It had always been there, hadn't it? I just didn't want to see it. As night fell, I sat in the dark, feeling more alone than ever. My whole life, I'd worked to make my family proud, and now I was being cast aside. The betrayal hurt deeply, but as I sat there, something else began to rise inside me, determination. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. They thought they could take what was rightfully mine, but they had no idea who they were dealing with. As I drifted off to a restless sleep, one thought echoed in my mind: this means war. The next morning, I woke up with a mission. No more tears. No more feeling sorry for myself. It was time to get to the bottom of this. I called my friend Jake, a sharp lawyer I knew from college. "Jake, I need your help. It's about my grandfather's will." We met at a coffee shop, where I told him everything. Jake's eyes widened. "Emma, what they did isn't just unethical, it could be illegal. Wills can't just be changed like that. So, what can I do?" He leaned in, lowering his voice. "We need to investigate, get the original will, any changes, and find out if there was undue influence." I nodded, feeling determined. "Where do I start?" "Your grandfather's lawyer, Mr. Thompson. He might help if he thinks something's wrong." I left the coffee shop with a plan. First stop, Mr. Thompson's office. The old lawyer looked relieved when he saw me. "Emma, I'm glad you're here. What happened at the reading didn't sit right with me. Can you tell me more about the original will?" I asked. He hesitated, then nodded. "Your grandfather left you the majority of his estate. He was so proud of your hard work, Emma. He wanted to make sure you could pursue your dreams without worrying about money." My heart clenched. "Oh, Grandpa. When was the will changed?" Mr. Thompson frowned. "That's the thing. It wasn't officially changed. Your parents just announced it. I've never seen anything like it." With this information, I dug deeper. I called old family friends and business associates of my grandfather. Slowly, a picture started to form. Olivia had been manipulating my parents for years, playing the victim and making me look like the cold, career-driven daughter who didn't need their support. But it was worse than that. I uncovered evidence that my parents had been embezzling money from the family company to fund Olivia's lavish lifestyle. Each new discovery was like a knife to the heart. How could they do this to me? How could they disrespect Grandpa's memory like this? I struggled with what to do next. These were my parents, my sister. Did I really want to take legal action against them? But then I remembered Grandpa's words: stand up for what's right, Emma, no matter what. I made my decision. I called Jake. "I want to pursue this legally. I have evidence." Jake's voice was serious. "It won't be easy, Emma. Are you sure?" "I'm sure. They need to face the consequences for what they've done." Over the next few weeks, Jake and I built our case: financial records, witness statements, copies of the original will. It was all there in black and white, but I needed more. I needed undeniable proof of their lies. That's when I came up with a plan: a family dinner, one last chance for them to come clean, and I'd record it for evidence. As I sent out the invitations, my stomach churned. This was it, the point of no return. I looked at a photo of Grandpa on my desk, his kind eyes seeming to encourage me. "I won't let you down, Grandpa," I whispered to myself. "I'll make this right." The stage was set. In just a few days, I would confront my family with the truth, and after that, nothing would ever be the same. The day of the family dinner arrived. I had set up hidden cameras in the dining room, with Jake waiting in the next room. My heart was pounding as I heard the doorbell ring. "Emma, darling," Mom breezed in, giving me air kisses on the cheek. Dad and Olivia followed, all smiles, acting like everything was fine. We sat down to eat, making small talk. I could barely touch my food, waiting for the right moment. Finally, I couldn't hold it in anymore. "So, about Grandpa's will." The room went silent. Dad cleared his throat. "Emma, we've been over this. It's done. I took a deep breath. No, it's not. I know what you did. All of it. Olivia scoffed. What are you talking about? I pulled out a folder. I'm talking about how you manipulated Mom and Dad for years and how you've been embezzling from the family company. Mom's face went pale. That's ridiculous. Emma, you're being paranoid. Am I? I laid out the financial records in front of them. Explain these. Then, hundreds of thousands of dollars funneled into Olivia's accounts. Dad stood up, his face turning red. Now listen here, young lady, but I kept going. And let's talk about the will. You had no legal right to change it. Grandpa wanted me to have that inheritance. Olivia's smug smile faded. You were always his favorite. It's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I worked hard while you partied through life, and they supported you every step of the way. Mom tried to calm things down. Sweetie, we just wanted to help Olivia. You're so successful. You thought you'd punish me for being independent, for making something of myself. That's when Jake walked in. Mr. and Mrs. Miller. Olivia, I'm Jake, Emma's lawyer. We have enough evidence here for criminal charges. The room exploded into chaos. Dad was yelling, Mom was crying, and Olivia was trying to delete something on her phone. You can't do this, Dad shouted. We're family. I stood my ground. You stopped being my family the moment you betrayed me, and Grandpa. In the weeks that followed, everything unraveled. The evidence was undeniable. My parents faced charges for financial fraud and tampering with the will. Olivia was caught up in the embezzlement scheme. The legal battle was tough, but in the end, justice was served. The court reinstated Grandpa's original will, and I got back my rightful inheritance. My family's reputation was ruined, their social standing destroyed. As for me, I cut all ties. It was hard, but necessary. The last time I saw them was in court. As the verdict was read, the look of betrayal in their eyes almost made me laugh. They still didn't understand, did they? With the nightmare behind me, I focused on honoring Grandpa's memory. I used part of the inheritance to start a scholarship fund for aspiring architects from underprivileged backgrounds. The rest, I invested wisely, just as Grandpa would have wanted. 1 year after that fateful reading, I stood in front of my latest project, a community center named after Grandpa. As I cut the ribbon, a sense of peace washed over me. I could almost hear Grandpa say, "You did good, kiddo." I had lost the family I was born into, but I had gained something far more valuable: self-respect, integrity, and the knowledge that I could stand on my own. As I walked into my new office, I looked at the photo of Grandpa on my desk. "We did it," I whispered. "We made things right." The betrayal had nearly broken me, but in the end, it made me stronger. I was Emma Miller, architect, philanthropist, survivor, and I was just getting started. And that's the end of Emma's journey. Now, here's a question for you. Do you think Emma was right to take legal action against her family, or should she have tried to resolve the inheritance issue privately? At what point should family loyalty be set aside in favor of justice and personal integrity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective could spark some interesting discussions. If this story of betrayal and redemption resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more complex family stories and ethical dilemmas. Your support helps bring these thought-provoking stories to life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.